A very good day to everyone. My name is Nurakila binti Ahmad Fuad. My metric number 279952. I will present about the sample output or user guide when we run the system. So let me run the system. As we can see here, this is the interface and menu. This menu will display for user. There are 6 options that user can choose. Option 1, which is register, where customer can register their information. Option 2, which is display bill. This display bill will display the bill based on information that have been registered. And option 3, which is search, where customer can search their information. And option number 4 is edit, where customer can edit their detail if there is something wrong. And option 5, which is list, where it display all customer information that have been registered. And the last option, which is exit. This option will exit from system after user finish using it. First, I will show you when the customer want to register. So when the customer want to register, the user have to enter number 1. That's number 1. So the system will ask the user to enter the name that they want to register. Let's say Kila. And they will ask the user to enter the account number. And the system also asks the user to enter the address. So after have entered the name, the account number and the address, after that user also need to enter the current meter reading. Okay. And also the user need to enter the previous meter reading. So after the user have registered, this data will be saved in the system. So the next option, which is display. So if the user want to view customer information and to display the bill, user have to enter number 2. Then the user need to enter account number that have been registered before, so that the system can display the bill. And the system will display user detail that have been registered by the user, and also the system will display the total unit consumed, the total amount, the total tax, and the total amount to be paid. Okay. The next option that I want to show you is the search option. If user want to search data, user have to enter number 3. In order to search data, user have to enter the account number that user already registered. Let's say this account number. So then the output will be display user's information based on account number have been entered. The next option, I will show you the edit option. If user want to edit data, user have to enter number 4. This edit option allow user to edit their meter reading if they enter wrong meter reading at first. So let's enter number 4 to edit. After that, user need to enter account number that they want to edit. Then the system will display the current and previous meter reading that user already entered before. And the system will let user to enter new current meter reading and new previous meter reading. Let's say the new current meter reading is this, and the new previous meter reading is this. So after the user have edit the data, the data will be saved in the system. The next option, which is list option. If user want to see list of users detail and the total unit consumed, user have to enter number 5. Let's enter number 5. And then the account number and the name and also the total unit consumed will be displayed in the system. The last option that I will show you is the exit option. If user don't want to use the system anymore, user can enter number 6. So the system will display thank you. So that's all for the user guide and when we run the system. Thank you.
So I'm gonna explain about the main method and the register method. So first of all, we will declare import and then we will declare scanner like usual, and then for this integer max equal to 100, this 100 will be the size of all the arrays. Okay, and then we declare all the arrays and variable that we need in this method. So this SOP will be the first output that user can see, and then we do while loop that contain main method, which is right here. Okay, right here, main method will display all of these things, and then for this variable response, the Java will get the input data from user because we ask the user to enter your choice here. Okay, and then switch statement, and so all of these things will keep looping unless the user enter number 6. Okay, so if the user enter number 1, register method will be performed. So for the register method here, so first we declare scan, and then we declare double text equal to 0.06, where we get this data from the questions, and then we'll display register, then we ask the user to enter name, enter account number, and then when the user enter account number, it will store in account numbers I, where this I is 0 because we declare I here equal to 0. So, and then there's another method, which is check method, that we need the account numbers. So for this method is basically to check the account number, because we don't want to add more than one customer with the same account number. So for integer index equal to 0, index less than I, index plus, where I right now is 0, so this will not perform because this condition is wrong. But later for the next register, this I will be 1. Okay, so this will be performed. So account nums index, which is index right now, is 0, equal to account nums I, which is I say just now. For the next register, I will be 1, so it will complete. So if it's same, so this one will be displayed. So we will ask the user to enter account number again. So the input data will be stored in account nums I, which is 1. Okay, and then back to the register method. We ask the user to enter address, and then enter current meter reading, and then enter previous meter reading. So then there's while loop, because we don't want the previous meter is bigger than current meter. So if the user input the previous meter is bigger than current meter, so this will keep looping. Okay, and then there are another several method, which are unit method, build before text method, service text method, build after text method. Okay, and then for this unit method, we need the current meters and previous meters. Okay, so for the unit method, which is here, okay, which is here, so basically we need to calculate the unit. So the current meter will minus the previous meter, and then we get the value of unit. So we return unit, and then we store in consonants. So for the build before text method, we need the consonant that we have then calculated before. Okay, and then for this build before text, okay, build before text, right here. So for this build before text, we want to calculate build before text. So for the first 200 of units, we will multiply with 0.218. For the next 100 will be multiplied with 0.334. For the next 300 will be multiplied with 0.516. For the next 300 will be multiplied with 0.546, and the balance will be multiplied with 0.571. So first we check the units. So if the units are less or equal to 200, so this will be performed. Else, if the units less than or equal to 300, so this will be performed. So then we will calculate like that, and then the result will be stored in build before text. So we return build before text in amount before text. So for the next service text, which we need the text right here is 0.06, and then amount before text that we have then calculated before. So this method is basically to calculate total text. Okay, and then so right here, okay, so basically the text will be multiplied with build before text. So we get the service text. So we will return the service text, and we will store in where is it? We will store in, okay, total text. So then the next method is build after text, that we need total text, and amount before text that we have done calculate before. So for the build after text is basically we will just add the build before text with service text. So we get the build after text. So we return the build after text and store in, we will store it in amount after text. Okay, and then for the variable name, variable address, current meters, previous meters, consumers, amount before text, total text, amount after text, all the data in here we will store in all of these arrays. Okay, where this I right now is 0. So all the data will store in all the arrays with index 0. So then we do I++. So I 0, plus 1, so I will be 1. So for the next register, all the data, okay, will store in all the array which the I is equal to 1. So all the data will store in all the arrays with index 1. So that's all from me.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Zulkifli Al-Hafiz and my matrix number is 269668. Today I am going to present and explain about the two methods which I use in my group project. The first method is detail method, which I use to display the electricity bills of a particular customer based on account number, and the second method is search method, which I use to find a particular customer based on the account number. And to define a method, we need to have two things, and the first one is method header. In the method header, we have the modifier, the result type, the method name, and the parameter or formal parameter. For the first method, the modifier is public static, and the result type is void, and the method name is detail, and inside the bracket we have the array type of parameter and each of the parameter names. And then to define a method, the next thing we need to have is the method body. Inside this method, we are going to use scanner because we want to read the user input to check if the input is present in the array list that we have created before. So we are going to use scanner, scan equal to new scanner, bracket system.in, bracket, and then semicolon. And then we are going to declare double text equals to 0.06, int flag equals to 0, int var equal to 0. We are going to use these two variables, flag and var, to check whether the input that the user entered is present or exists in the array list that we have created before. And so we are going to ask for the user account node. So we are using system.out.print bracket into account node, semicolon, and then we are going to declare the user input as int id equal to scan.next int bracket so that we can read it. And then we are going to use loop, for loop, to check if the id is present in the array list that we have created before. So for bracket in index equal to 0, index less than I, index plus plus, if id equals to account nums index, we are going to assign 1 with flag, and we're also going to store the index. So var equal to index. We are going to use selection control structure to display the bill. If the condition is true or flag equal to 1, we are going to display the customer name, the account numbers, addresses, current meter, previous meter, total unit consumed, total amount to be paid before tax, and then total tax, and the last one is total amount to be paid after tax. We are going to display all of this based on the account number entered by the user. Otherwise, if the account number that the user input doesn't exist in the array list that we have created before, we are going to display system out.print in no record. Means that if the condition is false, we are going to display no record. And for the next method, we have the modifier as public static, and the result type is also void, and the method name is search, and then inside the bracket we have the array type of parameter and each name of the parameter. We're also going to use scanner because we are going to find the customer based on the account number that exists in the array list that we have created. So int flag equal to 0, int var equal to 0, and then we ask for the input from the user in the account node, and then we declare int id equal to scan.next int so that we can read the input from the user, and then we are going to check if the input from the user equals to account numbers index. So we're going to use for loop for bracket int index equal to 0, index less than I, index plus plus. If the condition is true, index equals to account nums index, and then we will assign 1 with flag, and then var with index, and then we are going to display the search the customer name, account node, address, current meter, previous meter. If we are going to display this, if the condition is true, if flag equal to 1, then you are going to display this. If the condition is false, means that the account number that the user enter is not in the array list that we have created before, the system will display no report. Thank you.
Hi and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Shazrina binti Spardi. My matrix number is 280200. Here I will explain about two methods, which are edit method and list method, and also option for exit. So basically, edit methods created to allow user to edit their meter reading if they enter wrong meter reading at first, and the list method created to list down all the user's detail and the total unit consumed by the user. And the exit option is created when the user do not want to use the system anymore. Here is edit method, and this is the method header, and we use edit as method name, and inside the bracket we have array. Inside the bracket we have array type of parameter that we need to use in the edit method. Okay, and then we move to method body. In order to receive users input and to check whether the input present in the array list or not, we need to use scanner scan new scanner system.in. After that, we declare double text equal to 0.06 int flag int var, and after that the system will display enter account number. So here system.out.print enter account number, and this is int id equal to scan.next int. So, and then we use for loops for int index equal to 0, index less than I, index plus plus for id or the user input before equals to number account nums index. So here we store flag as 1, vars equals to index. And then we use selection control structure. If the condition is true, where flags is equal to 1, the system will display all this message, and the first one is the edit message, and then the second one is the current meter reading that the user already entered at the first time, and then the system will display the previous meter reading. Here also the previous meter reading that the user already entered, and after that the system will prompt the user to enter new current meter reading and also new previous meter reading. And here we use declaration int new current equals to scan.next in, and also here int next new previous scan.next int. And then while previous meter VAR bigger than current meter VAR, the system will display invalid input, try again message, and also the system will ask user to enter the previous meter reading again. And here is all the data that we need to use in the body method. And else, if the user input wrong account number or the account number that has been not registered yet, the system will display no record message. And okay, the next we move to the list method. In list method, here is the part of the method header, and we use list name, list as the method name, and here is the parameter, and the system will display list message, and we use for loop for int index equal to 0, index less than I, index plus plus. The system will ask user will display all the account number, name, and also the total unit consumed. And so the last one is the exit option. So here we can see at case 6 where at case 6 where when the user do not want to use the system anymore, user can choose this here. You can see the option number 6, which is exit. So when the user choose 6, their system will stop working and will display thank you message. That's all from me.